I'm Caitlin, owner and founder of Sugar Layne Candle Co. And today I'm going to show you guys how to repurpose or recycle your jars. But first we have to remove any remaining wax. So I do have a spent candle here. You'll see in the bottom that it is completely spent into the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare some hot water. We can use a kettle like I've prepared today with hot water. You don't want it boiling, just hot. If you do not have a kettle like I have today, you can use a small saucepan on the stove, or you can use a measuring cup in the microwave. Just be sure to prevent burns and use the appropriate equipment to keep your skin safe. So you have your spent candle. You're going to take your hot water and be very careful when pouring over the top of the candle. You want to leave, I would say, about a ½ inch of space at the top, so you can kind of see here that you don't want a ton of space because you want to be able to easily pull the wax disc out that's going to form. So you don't want it too low to where you have to dig your fingers in there. After that, you're going to set that aside for a few hours until a wax disc forms over the top of the candle. About 30 minutes after you pour the hot water, this is a great time to remove your labels, as the heat from the water will loosen up some of that glue that is behind the labels. Just be incredibly careful when you do decide to remove those labels if the water is still inside of the product, so you don't burn yourself with any water. And we're going to go ahead and set this aside. Obviously, I pre-prepared a few jars so I could show you guys this all the way through. So this is what it looks like after it has sat for a few hours. So the wax should essentially come to the top of the jar, and you should be able to gently push, and that disc will come out without any difficulty. So once you have this, this can be thrown away. So we'll kind of set that to the side. And what's left is just your jar with water in it and a little bit of additional wax. So you can go ahead and dump that water there. And then there's a couple different ways that you can decide now to get rid of the additional wax. I like to just pour hot water once more. So I'll take more of this hot water and pour it right to the top. And I just let it loosen any of those extra wax dots. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute. And then you can kind of see, if you look closely here, that some of them are floating over the top. So once you have that, to prevent your drain from getting clogged up with any additional wax, a lot of the times I will pour this through a paper towel, so that way the paper towel catches any additional wax, but the water is able to go through. If it's a really small amount, it's rather negligible and should be fine going down the drain. So that's what I will do here today, because we really don't have much, and the hot water from the sink will end up clearing it over time. Once that's out, we'll grab a couple of paper towels. And you just give it a good wipe. Get any of the additional wax out, and then you can scoop the bottom, and out will come that little wick holder, along with that little piece of tape that holds the wick holder in. It shouldn't take much effort to get it out of there. Sometimes you can use your finger, or if you're somebody like me that doesn't have really long fingers, sometimes you can use the edge of like a butter knife. Just be really careful, because you don't want to scratch up the jar if you're intending to reuse it. And again, this would be a really good time to go ahead and peel your labels off. They should remove rather easy. So like this, after the heat has sat for a second, it comes off without any issue. Now, with any sticky residue, you can use a little bit of oil on a paper towel, and that should come right off. Or you can use a product like Goo Gone. So now you have your empty jar. You can then put them in the top rack of your dishwasher, or you can hand wash them in the sink, and you are left with a cute jar and your lid, which you can also remove the stickers off of these. Again, it shouldn't take much effort. So now you have a cute jar, and you can use them for things like earrings, or sometimes people take the lid off and use them for pens or other utensils. And there you have it, a nice clean jar. And if you decide not to keep it, find a recycling bin or your local recycling service. Thank you.